The Valley of Elah was a place of fear. A giant stalked the battlefield. His name was Goliath. Goliath was a true giant. He stood over 9 feet tall. His armor gleamed. Bronze plates covered his massive frame. He carried a sword and a spear. His shield was like a door. Every morning and evening Goliath issued his challenge. "Choose a man to fight me," he boomed. His voice echoed across the valley. The Israelites trembled. No one dared to face him. Goliath mocked their God. He instilled terror in their hearts. For 40 days the giant's shadow stretched across the land. David was a young shepherd, a boy who spent his days in the fields, watching over his father's sheep. He was diligent and brave, always ready to protect his flock from any danger that might come their way. He tended his father's sheep with great care and responsibility, ensuring that none of them strayed or fell into harm's way. His days were filled with the simple yet demanding tasks of a shepherd. One day his father sent him to the Israelite camp, where his brothers were serving as soldiers. David was to bring them food and check on their well-being. David eagerly took on this task, carrying a basket of provisions for his brothers. He was excited to see them and to hear news from the battlefield. He arrived just as the giant warrior Goliath issued his daily challenge to the Israelite army. David listened in astonishment as Goliath mocked and taunted the soldiers. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. The fear in the camp was palpable, and David was shocked that no one dared to face the giant. "Why are you afraid?" David asked his brothers and the other soldiers. He couldn't understand why they were so intimidated by this Philistine. "I will fight this Philistine," David declared with conviction. His brothers scoffed at him, dismissing his bravery as mere youthful folly. They knew David was just a boy, inexperienced in the ways of war, but David was resolute, his determination unwavering. He went to King Saul and stood before him with confidence. "I will fight Goliath," he declared boldly. Saul was doubtful, looking at the young shepherd with skepticism. David was just a youth, but he insisted with passion and conviction. He recounted his experiences. He had faced lions and bears to protect his sheep, fighting them off with his bare hands and his sling. He had faith in God, believing that the same God who helped him protect his sheep would help him defeat Goliath. Saul offered David armor, hoping to protect him from the giant's wrath. But David, with unwavering faith, refused the heavy armor. He believed that his trust in God and his own skills were enough to face the formidable Goliath. He would face Goliath with his shepherd's staff, a simple sling, and 5 smooth stones he had carefully chosen from a stream. As David approached, Goliath's laughter echoed across the valley, mocking the young shepherd's audacity. "Am I a dog?" Goliath roared, his voice filled with contempt, "that you come at me with sticks?" Despite the giant's taunts, David stood firm, his heart filled with courage and determination. "You come against me with sword and spear," David replied, his voice steady and unwavering. "But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." With that declaration, David reached into his pouch, his fingers feeling the smooth stones he had gathered. He selected one smooth stone, the perfect size and weight for his sling. He loaded it into his sling, his movements precise and practiced. He whirled it above his head, the sling spinning faster and faster, building momentum. The stone shot forward with incredible force, propelled by David's skill and faith. It flew through the air with unerring accuracy and found its mark. The stone sank deep into Goliath's forehead. The giant, stunned and disoriented, stumbled backward. With a thunderous crash, he fell to the ground, his massive frame shaking the earth. Silence fell over the battlefield as both armies watched in shock and disbelief. David, the young shepherd, had slain the giant, proving that faith and courage could overcome even the greatest of odds. Section 4. Echoes of the Giant. Victory surged through the Israelite army. They chased the Philistines from the field. David returned home a hero. But the echoes of Goliath's challenge followed him. There were other giants in the land. David would face them too. He fought with courage and skill. He never forgot the lesson of Goliath. He learned that size and strength were not enough. True power came from faith. David's victory over Goliath was a turning point. It showed that God could overcome any obstacle. Section 5. Faith Triumphant. The story of David and Goliath is timeless. It has been told and retold through generations, capturing the imagination of people from all walks of life. This tale is not just a story of a battle, it is a story of faith, courage, and the triumph of the human spirit. It speaks to the power of faith. David was outmatched. He was a young shepherd, inexperienced in the ways of war, standing against a giant who had known nothing but battle. Goliath was a seasoned warrior. His size and strength were intimidating, and his confidence was unshakable. He had the armor, the weapons, and the experience. David, on the other hand, was an inexperienced shepherd boy. He had no armor, no sword, just a sling and a few stones. But he had something far more powerful. But David had something Goliath didn't. He had an unshakable faith in God. This faith was his true weapon, giving him the strength and courage to face the seemingly insurmountable odds. He had faith in God. This faith was not just a belief, but a deep trust that God would deliver him from the hands of the giant. This faith gave him the courage to face the giant. It was this unwavering belief that allowed him to stand fearlessly before Goliath, despite the overwhelming odds. The story of David and Goliath is a reminder. It reminds us that no matter how great the challenge, with faith, we can overcome. It tells us that we can overcome any challenge. No matter how insurmountable it may seem, faith gives us the strength to face our giants. We all face giants in our lives. These giants may not be literal, but they are just as daunting. They may be fear, doubt, or adversity. These challenges can seem overwhelming, making us feel small and powerless. But with faith, we can overcome them all. Faith gives us the courage to face our fears, the strength to overcome doubt, and the resilience to withstand adversity. We must remember David's example. His story teaches us that faith is a powerful force that can help us conquer even the greatest of challenges. We must face our giants with courage and trust in God's power. Just as David did, we too can triumph over our giants with unwavering faith and determination.